Hey everyone, and welcome! Today we're going to dive into one of the most incredible stories you'll ever hear, a story packed with war, strategy, and elite soldiers. But, this battlefield isn't in some far-off land. It's actually happening inside your body, right this very second. We're talking about your immune system. So, let's just think about this for a second. Every single day, your body is under siege from just countless invisible enemies. So how in the world does it fight back? I mean, how does it tell a friend from a foe? And how does it manage to win this constant invisible war? Well, to get that, first we've got to meet the players. All right, first up, the bad guys. In this whole battle, the main invaders are called pathogens. You can just think of them as the villains of our story. We're talking bacteria, viruses, parasites. Their one and only goal? To breach the walls of your body's fortress and just wreak absolute havoc. But see, your body is incredibly smart. It doesn't just see some faceless mob of invaders coming at it. No, it identifies them by the flags they carry. And these flags are called antigens. They're these unique little particles on the surface of a pathogen that basically scream, "Hey, I don't belong here!" And that is the signal. That's what triggers the entire immune response. And when your body sees one of those enemy flags, it doesn't just send out any old soldier. Oh no. It creates a custom-made weapon called an antibody. These things are highly specialized proteins, and they are designed to lock onto one specific antigen and completely neutralize the threat. It's like having the perfect counterweapon for every single invader. So, okay, we've got the invaders, we've got their flags, and we've got our own custom weapons. But how is the defense actually organized? Well, it turns out your body is this brilliantly designed fortress with 3 totally distinct lines of defense, and each one has a critical role in keeping you safe. The first line, that's all about prevention. Think of it like the high walls and the moats, designed to just keep invaders out entirely. Now, if they somehow get past that, the second line kicks in. This is like a general, rapid response guard force. But if the fight gets really serious, that's when the third line is activated. The highly trained, super specific, and absolutely deadly special forces. And it's pretty amazing how simple, but crazy effective these outer walls are. Your skin, for example, is this tough physical shield that's always shedding, making it really hard for anything to grab hold. Then you've got your airways, lined with this sticky mucous membrane that traps invaders and even has enzymes to destroy them. And anything you swallow, it's got to survive a literal bath in stomach acid. It is an incredibly hostile environment for any pathogen right from the start. But, of course, sometimes an invader makes it through a cut or a wound. The walls have been breached, and immediately that second line of defense sounds the alarm. You might feel this as inflammation. The area gets red and swollen. That's actually your body widening blood vessels on purpose to rush guards to the scene. You also might get a fever, which is just your body turning up the thermostat to make life miserable for the germs and speed up your own immune cells. So who are these guards that come rushing in? They're called phagocytes, and their job is brutally simple. They eat the enemy. Seriously, this process, it's called phagocytosis, is like something out of a sci-fi movie. The phagocyte literally surrounds and engulfs the pathogen, traps it in this little bubble, and then fuses that bubble with a sack of digestive enzymes that just completely obliterates the invader. It's wild. Okay, but what if the invasion is just too big for the local guards to handle? What if the enemy is spreading? Well, that's when the call goes out to the third line of defense, the elite special forces of your immune system. They're called the lymphocytes. And these are the cells that bring precision, memory, and just overwhelming force to the fight. Now, these special forces, they don't just use brute strength. They come equipped with that whole arsenal of sophisticated weapons we talked about a minute ago, the antibodies. And these weapons can be deployed in some incredibly clever ways. I mean, their versatility is just unbelievable. Antibodies can perform neutralization, which is basically disarming toxins before they can do any damage. They can cause agglutination, which clumps all the invaders together into one big, helpless ball for the guards to just gobble up. They can even do something called opsonization, which is like painting a giant fluorescent target on the enemy, screaming, "Eat me." And for some bacteria, they can trigger lysis, which causes the invader's cell to literally just burst. So winning one battle is great, but the true genius of this third line of defense is that it learns. It actually learns. After defeating an enemy, it creates memory cells. And this makes sure that if the same invader ever shows up again, the response will be so fast and so powerful, you probably won't even know you were attacked. And that is the essence of immunity. Now, there are two main ways you can get this immunity. The best way is active immunity. This is when your own body fights a battle and learns from it, creating its own army and that long-lasting memory. The other way is called passive immunity, and this is kind of like hiring mercenaries. You get pre-made antibodies from an outside source. Sure, it's fast, it's effective, but it's temporary. Once those hired guns leave, you don't have an army of your own because your body never actually learned how to fight that specific enemy. And this difference becomes super clear when we compare vaccines and antiserums. A vaccine is a form of artificial active immunity. It's basically a training exercise for your army. We introduce a weakened or dead version of the pathogen so our body can learn its flags and build up those memory cells without having a real, dangerous fight. Its whole purpose is long-term prevention. An antiserum, though, that's artificial passive immunity. It's an injection of ready-made antibodies, and it's used for immediate treatment, like for a snakebite. It's a fast fix, but it's temporary.
So that leads to a really great question. If a vaccine is a training exercise, why do we sometimes need a booster shot? Well, just like any army, the troops can get a little rusty, and memories can fade over time. A booster shot is simply a refresher course. It's a scheduled drill that reminds the immune system about the enemy, causing it to ramp up antibody production again and bring the army back to full alert status.
This whole defense system is just breathtakingly powerful, but it's not invincible. And in one of the most tragic ironies in all of biology, some pathogens have evolved a devastating strategy. They don't attack the walls. They don't attack the guards. They attack the command structure itself. The human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, is an enemy with an absolutely insidious battle plan. It specifically targets and destroys the lymphocytes, those very same special forces cells that coordinate the entire third line of defense. So, in our fortress analogy, HIV isn't storming the gates. It's assassinating the generals. And the result is catastrophic. Without its generals, the body's immune system just falls into disarray. Communication breaks down, the army can't mount a coordinated, specific defense. This state is what's known as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or AIDS. The body becomes vulnerable to all these other so-called opportunistic infections, things a healthy immune system would normally just wipe out with ease. So, from the outer walls of your skin to the intelligent special forces that patrol your blood, your immune system is a tireless, 24/7 personal army, fighting a war you never even see. It learns, it adapts, and it protects. Which really just leaves us with one final, crucial question to think about. How are you supporting your troops?